Hello all and welcome to the channel. I'm James. If you're new here, I give advice on some of the most pressing role-playing game related issues facing us today. Now, most of my advice up until this point has been for game masters, but today I want to extend some of my oft-times questionable wisdom to the players out there. So for today's topic, let me share with you my advice on something very dear to my heart as a player. How to stay under the radar while power gaming. Truthfully, I could just as easily title this How to Power Game Without Irritating Your Fellow Players or Your Game Master, but that title just lacks the salacious feel of a tabloid-style advice channel like this one. So, let's stick with the first title. And fortunately, there's a lot of overlap between avoiding detection and avoiding irritation. As they say, the greedy mosquito gets the hand. One of the more intriguing ways of power gaming under the radar is to play an anime protagonist. These characters are rife with secret powers and final forms that would have been really useful 3 episodes ago. But, for some reason, only now that everyone's half dead do they pull all these amazing powers out of their posterior. As obnoxious as it might be in world for Now I to let you get stabbed 7 times before they get serious, as a game technique, this will let your fellow players enjoy running their characters through tense situations that can heighten the role-playing experience dramatically. At least for a while, before you cash in all that built-up tension to make everything about you. When making this sort of character, begin by picking a build that has a bunch of limited use effects that can, ideally, be used in conjunction with one another to create a massive but short-lived concentration of raw power. In RPG terminology, these are typically referred to as Nova characters, even the boring ones that don't explode. Spellcasters, if your game has them, can often be ideal candidates for this, but be careful when picking their power set. You're not after efficiency here. You want as many abilities that can work simultaneously as you can stack on top of each other. Being able to Nova is only half the battle, however. Most of the time, the character should be a fairly average version of the role you chose for them, allowing them to blend seamlessly into the rest of the party for most of the game. Thus, it is vital that you make certain that even without their Nova abilities, your fighter can fight, your thief can sneak, and your bard can... When playing these characters, you wait for when things are dire. Or, if things never get dire, then when manufactured drama can make things seem dire. This is when you reveal your true power, or secret technique, or final form, or what have you. There is a drawback to this technique that must be mitigated, however. After all, once everyone has seen Tom the Big-Eyed Warrior's true power, there will be the constant unspoken, or sometimes loudly spoken questions about why they're not using their special technique on the group of 4 orcs your party fights the next day. Avoid the real answer. That is that these orcs are not worthy of Tom's true power. This is not something you should be saying out loud, no matter how true it is. Instead, head off such queries ahead of time by engaging in some post-fight dramatics. Collapse and make another party carry Tom to the next encounter. This will emphasize how much using his true power took out of him. Don't worry if there's no mechanical backing in the game system for such a display. The fight is over and the time for power gaming is done. Meanwhile, the time for power hamming is nigh. If you don't think that the undercover Nova build is enough to satisfy your thirst for imaginary godlike ability, and you want to power game more reliably, here's another strategy, the key to true power. Heed these words, young power gamer. It was not King Arthur that chose the new ruler of England, but rather the Lady of the Lake. In short, play support. Most game systems make support characters outlandishly powerful compared to other character types. Part of this is to get players to choose an unpopular class, and part of it comes just from the nature of how support abilities work. An ability that increases everyone's average damage is a huge boost compared to just an increase to your own. And if you ever got properly audited on your damage output, You might find your cleric owes more damage tax than any two rogues put together. Fortunately, on this, your church is exempt. As the damage is spread across 5 characters, no one will look at your books too closely. Make certain, though, that when you are selecting support abilities, you don't neglect the out-of-combat power gaming. A feature of supporting characters is that their non-combat abilities are often even more fearsome than their combat formidability. You can ensure your companions never fail to notice another trap, that your stumble-tongued bard seduces every dragon, that your thief picks every lock, and that your fighter needles every needle point. I'm not really certain how fighters tend to spend their skill points, to be honest. But to the task at hand, you now have 2 solid roadmaps for how to get your power gaming itch scratched without littering the floor with your GM's monsters before half your fellows even got an action. But wait, there is a final entry in the stealth power category. One so stealthy, their name is practically synonymous with being a balanced and underpowered character. The Jack of all trades. How can somebody defined by their inability to excel be powerful, you ask? Well, you have to look at them holistically. The second best combatant in the group may not seem that impressive, but if they're also the second best wilderness survivalist, the second best talker, the second best healer, the second best at needlepoint, sorry fighters, add all these second bests together and what you get is a character that contributes more to the party's overall success than any single specialist. But no one can be the second best at everything, right? That's okay. Most game systems have very certain areas where being second best is a big deal, and other areas where it doesn't have much impact. Using D&D as an example, being the second best talker is going to have limited impact on the game if the first best talker is the one that's always talking, and everybody else just kind of shuts up and listens. However, the second best trap finder can often discover traps that the primary rogue missed just by luck, and without wasting any extra time since they can search concurrently. Focus your Jackie abilities on areas where backups are most helpful. Healing, in particular, is often an overlooked area where backups are particularly handy. After all, most healers can't heal anymore after they're dead, and if you're the one keeping them alive, shouldn't you give yourself the credit for their healing as well? Take a moment to consider all the areas that your adventuring party could have succeeded instead of failed if you'd not left everything up to the specialist to handle by their lonesome. Each and every one of those failures, that's when your true power will emerge. Let these words of wisdom continue to guide you to better and less obnoxious power gaming. I've been James. Happy fireballing.